Alrighty, so today I'm going to explain what just happened with GameStop. To put it mildly, it's been a wild ride for GameStop, which at one point here has been valued at more than Delta Airlines, which is very weird because GameStop, for people who have visited it, is basically a swap meet meets Blockbuster for video games. Basically, here's what happened. So at the beginning of January, they had a change in leadership, and that caused some optimism at the company. But some people thought that the optimism was sort of overvalued at the company in hedge fund world. So what happened is all of those hedge fund traders, they short sold the stock. So I'm going to explain what exactly happened and then how a bunch of people on Reddit basically screwed all of those hedge fund guys. It's pretty unbelievable. We'll get to that in just 1 second. First, I want to remind you, you need to check out expressvpn.com/Shapiro to protect your online data. If you don't trust big tech, now would be an excellent time to check out expressvpn.com/Shapiro. So we first have to explain what a short sale is for people who don't actually know what a short sale is. So we have a couple of players in our short sale. Okay, if you believe a value is overpriced for a stock, if you think that a stock is overpriced, then you engage in what's called a short sale so you can capture the value of the overpricing. Here's how it works. You have a hedge fund guy. We're going to call that guy Bruce because everybody hates Bruce, right? So here's Bruce. Okay, so you got Bruce. Over a 1 month period, Bruce believes that the stock of GameStop is going to drop, right? This is 1 month, okay? So what does Bruce do? He doesn't own any stock in GameStop because he doesn't like GameStop. He thinks that it's actually not a company that is of great value. So what does Bruce do? He goes to a broker, right? The broker then proceeds to lend Bruce the stock, okay? The stock is moving from the broker to Bruce. Bruce is going to borrow that stock for a month. Then, 1 month from now, Bruce is going to give that stock back to the broker plus some sort of percentage fee. So let's just say that Bruce is going to give, for the sake of easy math, the broker back the stock plus 10 bucks. So Bruce, in 1 month, is then going to reverse the transaction, is going to return the stock to the broker plus 10 bucks. Okay, now, Bruce, again, he thinks that the stock is overpriced right now. So now Bruce has the stock. So what does Bruce do? Let's say that the stock price is 50 bucks for the sake of argument. So Bruce then goes to the market and he is going to sell this stock, right? He's going to sell the stock that he has borrowed to the market. Okay, and Bruce, in return, is going to receive. Bruce now has $50 in his pocket. Now, the month progresses. Bruce has no stock, but he has to return the stock back to the broker. So what does he do? He waits for a month. Now, because Bruce was right, the stock price dropped. So Bruce can now buy the stock from the market, right? So the market is now going to sell the stock to Bruce. And Bruce, let's say it's dropped to 20 bucks, is going to pay $20 to the market. So that means that Bruce sold the stock at 50. He bought the stock at 20. So that means that he made $30 on that transaction. Then he has to return the stock plus 10 bucks to the broker. So now he has made 20 bucks on the transaction, right? So here's what everybody at the end of the day got from that transaction. So the broker got the stock plus 10 bucks, and Bruce ends up clearing a profit of 20 bucks after all that is said and done. Okay, that's what Bruce is hoping for if the value of the stock has dropped. Now, here's what the GameStop guys did. Alrighty, so before we get to more of this, I want to explain to you why you should be using ExpressVPN. So ExpressVPN, it's going to protect your online data. So your online data, it is vulnerable to hackers. It is vulnerable to your ISPs, which can follow you around, link your identity to all of the websites that you visit, and then monetize all of that. If you don't trust big tech, you should definitely be protecting your online data with ExpressVPN. It's really, really easy. I've got it right here on my cell phone. All I have to do is go over to my ExpressVPN app. Just click one button. Right now it says I am not connected, but boom, I hit that, and there it goes, I am now connected. This now means that I am protected, okay? It is that simple. It is not difficult to do. And here is the thing, it's not gonna cost you a fortune either. Right now, head on over to expressvpn.com/Shapiro. You get the first 3 months free when you get that 1-year package. Head on over to expressvpn.com/Shapiro today. Protect yourself from the predations of big tech. Go check out expressvpn.com/Shapiro to get started. It's as easy as one poke on your phone. So on Reddit, there's a Reddit thread called Wall Street Bets. And they noticed that there were a lot of Bruces, and all the Bruces were short selling the stock. All the Bruces were basically betting that they were going to be paying back the broker the stock right now. But they don't actually have the stock, right? They haven't actually bought the stock yet, right? They're planning on buying the stock right before they sell it back to the broker. So they don't have the stock. So what do the subreddit guys do? What the subreddit guys do is they say, okay, what if we just Bruce? What if what we actually do here is drive up the price of the stock, right? So now when Bruce, let's say he sells it for $50 because he thinks it's going to be down at 20 a month from now. Now the month has passed, right? We're now in this period. So the Reddit guys, what do? They say, we are going to artificially boost the price of the stock because all of us are going to get together. We're going to buy up all the stock that exists in GameStop. We're going to buy like all of it. And so the price is not going to be $20 for Bruce to actually buy the stock so that he can pay back the broker. Instead, the stock is going to be $200, right? So now Bruce is really screwed because Bruce sold the stock for $50, but now he has to buy the stock for $200. So that means that Bruce is no longer up $20. Now, Bruce is down $160. Right, so that is what they are doing, in short. They're basically screwing Bruce beyond belief by artificially boosting the price of the stock. Now, here's the thing. They're not taking into account the market fundamentals. They don't care about the market fundamentals. They don't care that GameStop actually is not worth $200 in terms of the stock. So what does that mean? This means that this only works and this can only continue so long as the price of the stock remains high. Because once the price of the stock begins to drop, if he continues to buy short sales, then as the price of the stock drops, you go back to your original calculation, right? If the price of the stock goes back down to $20, then Bruce is okay. He can still buy all of the stock back. So they can keep screwing Bruce for as long as possible just by holding the stock. And that's why you're seeing things like hold the line, do not sell, trending on Twitter. Because all these Reddit guys are like, the longer we do this, the more the hedge fund guys get screwed. Because what the hedge fund guys are doing in order to combat the fact that they're losing money on each one of these deals is, number one, they have to buy the stock in order to pay back the broker, or at least they have to pay the broker some money. And two, they realize that at a certain point, this is going to give way. Because all the people who bought, all the Reddit guys who bought, eventually they're going to realize, hold up a second, I can make a lot of money by selling the stock right now, right? That will drop the stock price eventually, but I will clear this giant profit in the meantime. So what the big hedge fund guys are doing is they are betting even more into short, right? They're saying, okay, for sure the stock is going to drop. We know it's going to drop. It's just a matter of time for it to drop. So what they are actually doing is creating more of an impetus for people to continue buying the stock and setting the stock price higher, because the more that they short squeeze, it's called the short squeeze, the more they short squeeze the brokers, the more that the brokers are going to have to pay in order to fulfill the promises that they have made to the brokers in the first place. The more Bruces they screw, the more money they can make. But that only holds true so long as you can hold the line, so long as there's a collective action not to just sell right now and drop the price of the stock. So that is what is going on right now. Now, in the midst of all of this, a bunch of tech companies have decided they don't like what the Reddit guys are doing. They don't like that the Reddit guys are screwing the Bruce guys. And there are a couple reasons they're saying this. One is they're saying that the Reddit guys, they don't care about the underlying value of the stock. They don't care about the fact that they are now trading the stock in multiple times what it actually is probably worth. What they really care about is screwing the Bruces of the world, and this is screwing up the market mechanism. So that's kind of that's a somewhat fair criticism. The other thing that they don't like is they don't like the people getting screwed. They don't like that it's the hedge fund guys that they normally trade with who are getting screwed. So what you have seen is places like Robinhood say, we're not going to allow you to continue to buy up the stock and continue to artificially inflate the price of the stock, right? You're seeing other places take down subreddit boards, right? The subreddit board was actually taken down. The folks who did that said, oh, it was to ban hate speech. It was not to ban hate speech. It was not to ban violent speech. It was specifically done in order to undercut the market for GameStop stock. It was deliberately done in order to create a sellable market. So people would start selling their stock immediately and the price would go back down and people would stop getting screwed over in Bruce world. Okay, so that's exactly what's going on with GameStop right now. You can be on either side of that. You can be on neither side of that. You have to admit that this is legitimately one of the funniest things that has ever happened in the history of Wall Street.